Hello, hello, hello. I'm seeing a cracked mirror here. So I feel like, because I'm hearing generations of this or that, I feel like a lot of you are going to find out something like a generational curse has been going on the entire time. That's been your blockage to eternal wealth or your level of freedom of wealth. So for some of you, if we're needing to match a ritual with this or any sort of divination tool, it would be to utilize ancestor paper to kind of clear out some debts here. Where you have to consistently work with it to clear something out. There's something that keeps happening to you that comes from a lineage of your ancestors that need to be made right with God. And because you are knowledgeable and you are able to tap in, this is your responsibility to cleanse this from your lineage, because it's fucking up the church's money. Yours, definitely. Okay. I'm hearing enslavement mentality. So, you know, it has a lot to do with freedom of the mind that then attracts the abundance around you, kind of thing. So it's all about perception, positive thinking, all that good stuff. So let's really get into it here. Because I heard very superstitious writings on the wall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck. Right? So pay attention to those numbers. When you believe in things that you don't understand, you suffer, but you're not ignorant to this. It's your responsibility, Saggies. Superstition ain't the way. It'll run you down every time. It keeps you in fear. It keeps you from not trying. It keeps you from not pushing. It keeps you from not wanting, and then that in turn doesn't inspire you. Your soul won't feel inspired or motivated to get anything done to reach higher levels. You have to find your fuel somewhere. It's depleted from lineages of things that your ancestors did that caused the generational curse. You got to find out where it is. And even if you don't have to start with trying to find out where it is, just be aware that it's there, and just open yourself up to God bringing you the clarity to show you where it is, and y'all can work on cleansing it together. You know, so don't waste your time just looking, because you feel like you know. Okay, I'm looking for a generational curse towards my wealth. Let me just look through this or look through that or ask questions about money, blah, blah, blah. No. Just open your heart up to newness and freedom, financial freedom, and then start working with Joss paper or whatever you feel like helps you do this. But it's all about awareness and then just freeing yourself from it. And as you free yourself from it, that clarity comes in and it will show you exactly where it was. But guess what? It doesn't matter where it comes from because it's still impacting you. What matters is now, and that it just gets removed. You understand what I'm saying? But to later understand where it comes from will help after you start to see where it came from, once you choose to be free and open yourself up to it, to let it come in, so that then who you pass your legacy on to will not make the same mistake. That's the only time we really need to be pressed on the past, is so that we won't repeat history. That's it. All this whole thing about I'm going in the past to figure out what went wrong, it keeps you in the past, baby. Be present, open yourself up to it, and allow God to show you the clarity. Stay in that flow and energy and watch the flashes of the past will come in. Why? Because it's going to guide you and show you to not repeat history. That's it. That's how that goes. That's the formula, okay? Welcome to my newbies. Hello to my oldies. My name is Diamond and you are watching Pretty Blind Eyes. The readings held on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The discussions held on this channel should not be taken as literal advice. I am legally blind, so I do read Braille on my cards to decipher what they are, but I'm an overall intuitive reader. In the description box below, you can find several ways to interact with me, one of which is the availability to book private readings. That calendar is open. Thank you guys for all the love, support, gifts, donations, journeying with me, and patience. Saggies, let's get to it. I feel like a lot of y'all not playing no games with yourself either, though. I like that. You really cracking down on yourself. Like, nah, we finna get this together, says Sag to Sag yourself. Yeah, right. All right. For some of you, though, I do feel like you're gonna really find some actual paperwork, though. But the reason why God is pointing you in this direction and having you go through this process, though, is because your heart will be right when you see it. If you see that shit now while you're already frustrated and mad, you're gonna keep the generational curse going. You're gonna be vicious, and you're not gonna give a fuck. You're gonna feel like you're being treated unfairly, and all those sorts of things. But God just trying to get your heart right and prepare you to see it so that you can handle it correctly, because this is new. Remember, no one before you handled it, right? And because you're breaking free from it, it's all new. So you're not going to be able to get your answers from anyone alongside of you or that came before you. Queen of Swords. Well, at least there is, for some of you, a certain one that do want to free the ones that's here from it, like the ancestors. But you guys have a lot of stubborn ancestors there that still have a lot of that. Like when they try to, how do I explain this? Because it's going to sound kind of not heavenly. And that's what I'm trying to get you to see, that there are some deities here that, how do I explain them? It's like I'm trying to tell y'all what I'm seeing, but let me explain their characteristics and then we'll go from there. Because I don't want y'all to think that all heavenly things ain't heavenly when you say ancestors and all that, but just know that there's darkness and light in anything. So what's happening here is that there is one special person that will guide you, as a guardian, and it's a very great ancestor, but there are a lot of them before you that love to inhabit that genie energy. And a lot of you that's been here with me know what I mean by that. But for the newcomers, what I mean is, y'all know how you rub that lamp and that genie come out and it's like, oh, you get 3 wishes, but then if you don't ask them, well, what do I get in exchange? Because everything comes with a price. That's these type of deities and entities here that they're wanting you to be careful about, that's still attached to that lineage of that curse of your wealth. That's a part of the huge blockage, is that a lot of the ancestors that you're probably turning to for, if you're already doing John's paper or you're already praying to them or bringing things to the altar, they're in that middle space. They're not quite heavenly, right? They are kind of like earthbound type of ancestors that requires you to constantly feed them, and they only know how to operate out of survival. And because they have a higher frequency of access to the energy, to have the ability to siphon the energy, that's what they're doing. So they're not even helping from the other side. Why? Because they're not all the way on the other side. They are like earthbound. They're in that middle spot. So they still have a lot of earthbound qualities to them that they live through here on this earth. That's a clue right there. If that helped, that goes to show you how deep. I'm talking to some very advanced Sagittarius is here. That's going to show you how deep this type of work is for you, or how fascinating it's going to be when you really unlock it. There's a slew of ancestors here that's still operating out of survival mode because they're still earthbound. So they are still exhibiting and projecting out all of those survival mechanisms, those behaviors that, they'll bite the hand that feeds them, but they want you to keep feeding them, but they give you nothing in exchange or anything everything is a bargain, everything is conditioned. So the first thing to do is just be honest with yourself and realize that be careful who you're praying to. Right? Even though they come from you or you come from them, some of them are earthbound. That's a part of the mystery to this. And that's a part of why there is a blockage, because a lot of them need to be freed up. But in general cases, you could work with your ancestors to free them from debts. And a lot of them will be on the other side and trying to wake you up to see like, hey, free me from, the debts I left behind, so it could clear up and you could work on your legacy to pass it down to the next generation and clear out the curse. That ain't this. This is layers and layers of greed and survival mode that some of your ancestors was in, and when it was time for them to cross over or whatever that they chose to do, they chose to be earthbound in a sense of, because they were still shackled, right? They were still shackled by that darkness. 2 of Pentacles, right? See, that's what that is. They're juggling. So you got to be you have to really relax yourself and ask for that clarity so you'll know that you're reading the room correctly. Because a lot of them that's going to come to a lot of you, Sagittarius, will be earthbound ones. You got to find that right one. I see one. But what I would do if I could spiritually advise you is I tell you just start within yourself, but start with like God and the angels, and then let them, you see what I'm saying? Did you see the type of work you have to do in order to like break free from it is not in a general way where you would just get your Jaws paper, go to your ancestors, thus assuming that all ancestors are there to help. No, because a lot of them need to be free themselves. That's still, because that's a part of your journey, is to free them from that, so that then it won't be such a big blockage for you and then your generation that you give birth to. Wow. No wonder it took me forever to do y'all readings. This is some serious work. Ace of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, God really had to fuel me up. Excuse me, channeling. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Ace of for a lot of you, it's a woman. They are saying who it is. A lot of you, it's a feminine energy that will help you. Some of you could be just like a granny. It could be someone recent that passed away this lifetime that can see, they have a bird's eye view. You see what I'm saying? Because they have access. And then because you are tapped in, they have access to you as well. And then they have access to everything that you may not see at all times that they can, and they could like guide you. Yeah. So for some of you, this is actual grandmother here. All right. Page of Wands. Yep. The way that they'll come to you and guide you is like sudden ideas will hit people, and then they'll share them with you and put you in the different cycles, like very fast ones too. So if a lot of you feel like things are ending before they start, that is the energy that depletes. It's like, wow, how come every time I get something started, it's like somebody just pulled the plug on me? That's all part of that generational curse to y'all wealth. Yeah. All right, final messages for Saggies. Wow, Sag, let's see here. I'm here starting to see spaceships on Bankhead. Some of you go to your star family too for help. They look so relieved, like, oh, finally. Because again, that's why they tell you when you get into things like this, you gotta have that number one formula, which is to be still and open yourself up to the light, and then go from there. Because you sitting up here listening like, oh, I just go to I got a deity that I work with, or I got this. No, because a lot of those, they have a higher chance of being earthbound. That's kind of like a part of the risk that you take with working with deities and your ancestors, because they come from this, the ashes, dust to dust thing. Yeah. Tower card with the Ten of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. Yeah, see, Tower card. This is family stuff with that Ten of Pentacles there, Nine of Pentacles. So this is kind of similar to Libra, in which I was getting a few reminiscences from Libra's reading, but because it was just energy, I didn't say nothing. But now it's looking exactly like Libra, with the part where I said that you have to walk in the darkness alone to then see that you were never alone. Right? And what that means for you specifically, though, is that, again, you're the only one that's tapped in that way to be able to even free people that came before you that's still operating in survival mode, even in their spiritualism. They're still so caught up in the greed or whatever it is that they did to curse the generations that they don't even want to cross over all the way. They'd rather be worshipped through inanimate objects and all sorts of things, and and just siphon energy all the time. And in turn, that's why you may even attract people surrounding your wealth and finances that seem to like fuck you over all the time, because it's in that energetic aura. It's that thing that's passed down in those in your aura, in your energetic field. Those different colors identify a lot, and it don't just identify what you're currently going through, how much you're currently growing, and all of that. Some of those things are like badges. Like, you might have a certain color in a certain sphere of your energetic field that identifies what lineage you come from as well. Okay. Very advanced Saggies. Well, guys, nice to meet you. Wow. My name is Diamond. You're watching Pretty Blind Eyes, and I'll see you next go round. Bye.